In the 20th century, archaeological excavations in Iraq's desert regions offered a new perspective on ancient Babylon. Amidst the ruins, evidence was found suggesting the existence of technologies that seemed out of place for their time. These discoveries raised questions about the capabilities of ancient civilizations and their potential mastery of nature's laws to create comfort levels we now associate with modern achievements. The answer to these questions may reveal that our ancestors possess far deeper knowledge than commonly believed. For a long time, it seemed civilization's progress followed a clear, steady path, from stone tools to metal, and eventually to machines. Ancient Greeks and Romans were considered the pinnacle of cultural development, while earlier societies were thought to be primitive. As a result, any findings that contradicted this view were either dismissed as errors in dating or labeled as anomalies. But everything changed in the mid-20th century. In 1936, archaeologists near Baghdad uncovered a clay vessel containing a copper tube and an iron rod. 2 years later, researcher Wilhelm Koenig proposed an audacious theory. This could be an ancient battery. This idea was shocking, but if it's true, what was it used for? Some suggest it could have been employed for electroplating, but that was just the beginning. Beneath the main palace's foundation, archaeologists uncovered a sophisticated network of pipes made of fired clay, meticulously laid out. Official history claimed that ancient civilizations relied on open ditches and crude drains for water systems. It was thought that full plumbing and sewage systems didn't emerge until centuries later. However, one engineer on the expedition examined the system more closely, especially the pipe joints, which were sealed with a natural resin-based compound. This technology allowed water to flow under pressure without leaking, a method that would not have been possible with primitive drainage. This discovery posed a question. Could ancient Babylonians have used engineering techniques we typically associate with the industrial age? As the team examined residential areas, they uncovered the home of a wealthy merchant. Inside, they found unusually transparent glass plates. These objects, smooth and almost perfect, with a slight thickening in the center, defied the conventional belief that ancient glass was always rough and cloudy, suitable only for simple vessels or cheap jewelry. Historians have long claimed that true optical lenses didn't exist until the Middle Ages, but an accidental discovery changed that. One archaeologist placed a glass plate over a clay tablet inscribed with cuneiform writing, and the text became large and clear. It turned out to be a magnifying lens. This indicated that the Babylonians understood light refraction long before optics was formally recognized as a science. What else might they have known? Could they have used such tools to study texts, drawings, or even celestial movements? In one workshop, archaeologists discovered drills made from a corrosion-resistant alloy. Conventional wisdom holds that ancient craftsmen worked primarily with soft copper or bronze. The fact that Babylonians were able to process hard stones like granite is usually explained by prolonged friction and abrasive sand. But the marks on the stone slabs of Babylon suggested more advanced technology. Perfectly even, deep grooves stretched across the stone, grooves that could not have been made by a soft tool or primitive friction. A stone processing specialist noted that such marks could only be produced by hard metal rotating at high speed, essentially a modern milling cutter. If mechanical methods were used in antiquity, it would radically alter our understanding of technological history. While investigating the workshops, the team found an even more perplexing artifact, a bronze device with gears. Time had nearly destroyed it, but the surviving parts indicated it was more than just decoration or a toy. It appeared to be part of a complex system, possibly a calculating device. Official accounts say complex mechanisms didn't appear in Europe until the Renaissance. But the discovery of gears in Babylon suggests otherwise. Babylonian engineers might have created devices to calculate celestial movements. But the most remarkable find came in the center of the ancient city. After a heavy rain, the ground shifted, and a worker led archaeologists to a collapsed area. From the exposed soil, the edge of a massive slab coated in hardened resin was visible. The worker explained that his ancestors referred to the site as the House of Silence, where priests supposedly kept the voice of the sky. When the slab was moved, a narrow passageway opened, leading to a small room with incredible acoustics. The halls were lined with tall clay vessels, all pointing toward the center. Officially, these jars were thought to store grain or wine, and Babylonian architecture was believed to focus only on external effects. But when someone stood in the middle of the room and spoke, even a whisper was amplified many times, as though by a powerful speaker. Engineers on the excavation were stunned. The shape of the vessels and the walls had been designed with such precision that it seemed the room had been created using acoustic principles. Why would this attention to detail be applied to a temple unless sound itself held great significance? Could this have been a space for assemblies or court proceedings where the ruler's voice could be heard clearly without effort? This discovery raised even more questions when studying the lighting of the grand halls. It was assumed that ancient people relied on torches and oil lamps for illumination. However, no soot was found on the ceilings or walls. If these surfaces had been exposed to fire for years, they would have been coated in soot. One member of the expedition uncovered remains of a polished bronze structure in an inner courtyard. This led to a fascinating theory. Sunlight could be directed into a specific point, and mirrors could transfer it throughout the building, filling the darkest rooms with natural light. Essentially, the Babylonians may have had an ancient system of light channels illuminating underground rooms using mirrors. This discovery suggested that Babylonian engineers had devised a method for maximizing natural light in a way we didn't think possible in antiquity. The everyday life of the Babylonians was no less surprising. In one residential home, archaeologists discovered a stone bathtub with two pipes running to and from it. Beneath the tub was a small chamber for smoldering coals, essentially functioning as a primitive water heater. This system allowed for warm baths, a level of comfort that wouldn't be common in Europe until 2,000 years later. In the kitchen of another home, a copper cauldron with a thin silver coating was found. While silver coatings are often dismissed as decorative, silver has antibacterial properties and helps keep water fresh for longer. This suggests that the Babylonians were aware of the health benefits of certain metals and consciously used them to preserve food and water. The more we study these findings, the clearer it becomes. Ancient Babylon wasn't a primitive civilization, but one that had mastered sophisticated engineering. Their water systems, lighting methods, and heating solutions all reflect a rational approach to organizing life. The city wasn't a relic of backward thinking, but evidence of a highly developed society that understood how to create comfort without harming the environment. As archaeologists dug deeper, They uncovered more insights into Babylon's urban planning. Along the central streets, they found unusual brick structures with copper rods running through them, secured with natural resin. The prevailing view is that copper was only used for jewelry, weapons, or utensils, and that any mention of electricity in ancient times is pure fantasy. But what if these copper rods served a practical function? Perhaps they were designed to divert lightning or remove static electricity from large structures, suggesting that the Babylonians had an understanding of atmospheric phenomena. Even in their craft quarters, Babylonian engineers demonstrated their expertise. In one workshop, they discovered basalt slabs polished to a near mirror finish, and microscopic analysis revealed thin circular marks, likely from a rotating tool. Could the Babylonians have used primitive machines? If so, mechanized labor might have existed much earlier than we thought, only to be lost to history. The most astonishing discovery came in a residential home, where archaeologists found a set of ceramic vessels with narrow necks, arranged as if they were part of an ancient laboratory. Chemical analysis revealed acids and metal salts inside, suggesting that the Babylonians were using chemical processes for gilding jewelry, evidence of advanced metallurgy, far beyond the craft work typically associated with the ancient world. The city's food supply system was equally revealing. Remains of mechanisms powered by river currents were found along canals, with gear systems made of wood and bronze. Official history claims that such mechanisms didn't appear until ancient Greece, but these finds suggest that Babylon had automated irrigation long before the Greeks. This allowed Babylon to become a cultural hub, where time saved from agriculture could be devoted to science and art. But then comes the difficult question: why did these innovations disappear and fade from memory? The mystery lies not in the fantastical nature of the artifacts, but in their practical applications. In a residential home, a device for tracking shadows was discovered, allowing for precise timekeeping. This contradicts the image of ancient life, being devoid of calculations. In Babylon, engineering and mathematics govern daily life. If we accept these facts, we can no longer view human history as a slow, linear march from darkness to enlightenment. Perhaps civilization has experienced bursts of knowledge, like Babylon, that were later lost. The excavations in Babylon show us that our ancestors were capable of building a world of comfort and technological marvels, using simple materials and advanced thinking. What do you think? Did humanity once reach a high level of technology, only to lose it? Or is this all just a coincidence? Leave your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more investigations into ancient mysteries.